You like short hair? I can have short hair. You like blondes? I can be blonde.
What are you doing?
I'm just having a moment, okay? You think I'd look better as a blonde?
Oh, God.
Hello, everyone. I'm Steve. Mark's around. Say hi, Mark.
Hey, everybody!
And this is Smokey Steve and Mark. Either welcome or welcome back, and happy Saturday. It is the weekend, so we knew what it means. Mark made me a special drink. I don't know what's in it.
Hazelnut.
Hazelnut. Good. It's not hemlock. So I hope everyone's well. I hope everyone's safe. I hope you're doing well. It's been cold weather here. Very cold. So I hope it's a little warmer where you are. And if you're not, we're in the fight with you. So today we are going to catch up with our fair lady, Chantal Marie, Foodie Beauty, Big Beautiful Me, the Daily Chantopolis, and of course Foodie Beauty for now. We haven't had a name change in a long time. I've been saying it for a while, but usually by now, she does. No, we may, because she's taken on a new identity. I didn't finish mine. I'll finish it after the video. I shave my head like once a month or so. So I'm not having a proper meltdown. I melt down differently than she does. So textbook. Cut your hair. So we'll be talking about her week so far. It was very active. There was a lot of material. There's 6-hour live streams. I mean, it was hours and hours of this. And a lot of it was the typical back and forth. I'm with Natter. He doesn't love me. I'm at his place all the time. He doesn't want me to leave. Her version of events for most of this. And then later in this week, we find out some of Natter's version of events, at least vis-a-vis audio that wasn't muted from the police officers, who apparently thought his food looked good. So, just to put it out there, it's a lot. It's a lot. We're going to try to cram it all in, and not everything's relevant. Is it breaking news that she hates French Fry Girl? Not particularly. So, it's almost not worth saying again. But what we're going to try to cover is BBJ, because we're going into last week here, where she canceled all her appointments with everybody to spend time with a friend. Okay. So we'll talk a little bit about that. She's perpetually out for a drive. She's never really home. And she's at his place periodically, so we only ever see her on the way to here, on the way to there. Baldness and skull caps, I gotta tell you. I'll tell you right now, we'll not talk about it later. I love it. I think I've seen hers. We'll talk a little bit about how she cut her own hair. But go for it. She has thin hair, and she doesn't like it. And she ordered some wigs. I know lace front wigs can be kind of cruel, though, too. I would have suggested her going to a salon and not cutting it herself, because then things like this happen. But, whatever. How she's definitely not jealous of Shannon. She's definitely not. And, of course, they had a fight, a tiff, and then made up, according to Chantal, all within a week. So, her mystery date, Mo, who only existed for the duration of Chantal's jealousy, went away. She canceled plans with him because she deep down wanted Nader to think that she really liked him and the plans weren't with him, and it was jealousy. Games. They play reindeer games in relationships. And then we'll talk about the cops, because the cops were involved. So where to begin? BBJ. BBJ is one of her cats. Her cats. And I love cats, and I believe she loves cats too. Her one cat is 20 years old. You know, he's a senior cat, BBJ is. So I don't believe that she's treated him poorly for 20 years, or else he'd probably die. What in real time seems to be an issue, though, is that on one specific day, there was an appointment for BBJ to go, which had been scheduled, and she's been getting a face full of shit for because she received a super chat with the request, use this money to take your pet to the vet. And this was months ago at this point. And she said, you know what, don't send money if you're going to tell me what to do with it. Her prerogative, I suppose. So finally, when an appointment came up, people were like, oh God, thank God this cat's going to go to the vet. Well, incidentally, Pete's had a therapy appointment at the same time. I think telehealth. I don't know if he had to go anywhere. And she was going to be there for some support, and he was going to be tied up. And she could, you know, what a rock solid rock of support she is. And she couldn't have Pete's with her because he was tied up, which was at the same time as the appointment. And she needs Pete's to carry the cat carrier because it's too heavy. She needs one of her men in waiting to come carry it. So unfortunately, she couldn't take BB to the vet, but coincidentally, it worked out perfectly because she was going to give Natter a ride somewhere. So see, it all works out in the end for Natter, like how it usually does. She was free to sit around on his beck and call, and she's gotten shit for that, and she should. She just sits up, date-ready makeup, between 2 points, waiting for someone to call from some direction to make her feel special. It's not cool, you know. This week I learned a little more about Natter from what was off camera, and it was what was off camera from his perspective, because he had the camera going when the cops came to his apartment because Chantal showed up to get her medical device. I know CPAPs are important, but like these are a medical device. Okay, let's not be grand with our language. She had designs, I think, on her plan was to maybe, okay, she was going to be a total pushover. She was going to drive. She was waiting to find out at this stop if she was going to drive Natter and some friends into Montreal so they could go hang out and do whatever. And she framed it like she was going to be an Uber driver. Like, well, he offered to pay me to drive him and his friends to go down there, and I thought maybe I'd get a cheap motel and we could hotel bees. I think what was happening, which is, she was driving him down there to find friends to maybe hang out with, maybe do some, I don't know, maybe they're going to the McDonald's Playhouse. I can't be sure. And she was willing to drive, hang out while he did it. Perhaps it was a lady friend or otherwise, and then hang out while he's doing whatever it is and then drive him home. This is not cute. Desperate's not cute. Stupid's not cute. I work with teens, and many of them are young women, and I try to reiterate them. I'm like, stupid is not cute. Clumsy is not, well, clumsy happens. That's not really a thing. But it's not okay. Like, it's not attractive. It's only attractive to certain types of men. And she seems to have found one. So, only certain kind of men like women like this. Only certain types of women like men like this. And they found each other. And each one thought they were slicker than the other. And then there's the rest of us, who are probably going to be made fools of by the end of the day when they're ching-chinging glasses with their feet up on her new CPAP. So, at any rate, she looks pathetic in the truest sense in situations like this. And I don't mean pathetic like, oh, you're pathetic. I just mean it doesn't look like she thinks much of herself, and she's willing to put herself into any sort of situation to not make him mad at her, to please him. I get being emotionally invested in people that are not, like, really that into you, and it's like an unrequited crush. Maybe it wasn't at one time. Maybe there was hard feelings. Natter says for a week they were together. He'll say that much. She says, no, it must have been longer. Why would I buy an iPad, or why would I buy a computer for someone who was only my friend? That's for you to answer. That's not for us to make sense of. He must have been leading me on where I wouldn't be this upset. No, that doesn't have to be the case. It doesn't have to be. If you're not responsible for the viewer's feelings, Natter's not responsible for yours. Fair's fair. We gotta all play by the same sort of rules and engagement here. We can't decide that we all behave this way, but I behave differently. And it doesn't matter because I do what I want, and she just can't get past him. She couldn't get past the front door in the denouement of this whole friggin' thing. So there goes BBJ. She's time for Natter. Maybe some time for Pete's, who could use an ear because he's freaking out. No. Okay. So, out for a drive. She's in the car a lot. She deliberately, or she's definitely not in Montreal. She can tell you that. Definitely not in Montreal. She's from a lot of undisclosed locations. So it's dark, and she parks in the woods or by that freaking outhouse, which I don't think it's any accident that she completely stops and chooses the outhouse as the place to go. There's something conspicuous there. I'm not saying it's the cocaine. I'm just saying something. Mark is. I'm just saying something seems fishy. Now, I travel for work and I have favorite rest stops. Like I stop for a smoke at this one. This one has a good vending machine. Because I travel an hour or two sometimes for work on travel days. So I get having a favorite place to stop, but this place doesn't have anything but, I understand. I was told by a Canadian viewer that the reason they have pretty much outhouses is because traditional plumbing would freeze in a situation like that in the location where it is. So that was explained to me. But aside from that, she's been in other undisclosed locations. No matter what she says, though, I kind of take it like, because whenever she says, I'm not in Montreal, I'm not coming back from anywhere, there's this huge skyline of a city behind her as she's driving. Now, this is for the audience, not me. What major city skyline would be on the way to, you know what I mean? I don't know. There's lies. She lies. I've got a soft spot for her at the end of this week because she's got bald spots like mine, but she was really dishonest and bitter and jaded and hurtful this week. Yeah, she was mad, but we don't get to treat people any way we want to just because we're mad. I mean, you can, but then you can't be surprised when you dig up romantic relationships that look like this. If you want to have lies and betrayal and turmoil and drama, pick up another natter. That's whatever. So, waiting to hear from Natter, waiting to hear from the guy bringing the stuff, or she just happened to clear her schedule to be available to help out a guy who won't even acknowledge her in public unless she offers to pay. I don't know. So again, we did skull caps. She's been wearing a black beanie. Okay, she looks okay in a black beanie, but it's like, I didn't invent them, but I kind of like them. I have about 6. I can tell her where to get the good ones if she's interested. Just saying, because she ends up bald. Now, while she was in her everybody is wrong but me, nobody understands the world like us, we're gonna go live on love, when he's got another woman there already. And he's kind of like starting to move on. Like, he's not thinking about it, he's moved on. Like, I think Natter has more of a social life, probably, than Chantal. She lives with Pete's, so she sees them in passing. But Natter has, like, friends. Like, he'll ask her to go drive to friends. So whether it's, like, casual encounters, hookup friends, party friends, whatever it is, he's got friends. And so when he wants to go do stuff, he can go hang out with them. Chantal doesn't. Or at least none that are on camera with her. So she doesn't have, like, a girl's night out, or a guy's night out. There used to be, like, her and Pete would go to dinner or something, or whatever. And I'm not trying to triangulate Pete's Natter and Chantal. Chantal could handle the situation between the two of them. Pete doesn't like him. Fuck, I don't like him either. But he's not going to tell me what I can do in my own house. Are you kidding me? Don't sleep in the same building. Sleep in the first floor. Don't sleep on the second floor. Who the fuck? What's he going to do? Come over? How's he going to get there? Uber? Is he going to walk? Maybe since he's working out now, he'll jog. Who cares? Who cares? I mean, I know she must have feelings all over this guy because every single bit of sense says, run, don't walk. One of the fortunate things Chantal has going for her is that she's got some money. And she says it all the time. She says it especially when she talks about Dee Dee and Natter and Shannon and everybody else who she's definitely not jealous of. These people who are traveling. She got real mad at Shannon and said, oh yeah, like I'm real jealous that you go to the Dominican Republic. I could go to Italy tomorrow. No, you couldn't. No, you couldn't. You would never. All these plans, just because you could do all those things doesn't mean you will. It doesn't mean you will. Plans are great. New beginnings are great. Very much so. When she was doing the diet cycle, she'd be on a diet for a week or two and fall off, or then it was like 3 hours or a few and then fall off. I was a sucker of a, what do you want to call it, cheerleader for her. Because no matter how many times she screwed up, and yes, she screwed up, and yes, she lied about it, and yes, she would get kind of defensive about it too. But as many times as she failed, she would at least sort of try for a little bit before she would start getting the fast food and lying about it, and then come clean about eating the fast food, and then promise all of us, like it gets us thin if she eat, you know what I mean? It's her life to save or ruin. It can't be anybody else to do it, and she's forced everybody else away. So, I don't know. So, Shannon, you're not very worldly, apparently. Of course, I don't know if Chantal's ever been to the Dominican Republic, or anywhere other than Canada and the United States. She might have been. Traveling is very different when you're a fat 20-year-old than it is when you're a fat 40-year-old. I found this out because I fell the other day. Things hurt more when you're older and you fall. When you're 16, you could break your face on ice and it heals up in a week. It's very different as we're getting older here. And I don't want to say, like, Chantal, you're being adolescent because you're almost 38 and you're carrying on. It's like childish. Some of the stuff's childish. The name calling, that. Yeah, people make fun of you. And you can clap back or insult back or do whatever you like within terms of service. That's allowed. She wouldn't be the first to do it, certainly. But the retorts, I mean, the jealousy is palpable. All these people that you're talking shit on have lives outside of YouTube. Chantal, like, kind of doesn't. She almost did the 12-hour stream yesterday by accident, because she'd only get off a few times here and there. I don't know. Her flex is her money. She'll make fun of class issues when she's making fun of that. And we don't know, like, how do I know how much Shannon makes or how much this one or that one makes? But Chantal likes to have an upper hand in all her relationships. Even the new guy, Mo, who she made up and then was going to visit, didn't drive. It's always an upper hand when you are the transportation or when you're the one who pays. She comes into the relationship with clout. She comes in ahead of the game. So this person wants to go out, she has to drive. She has control. She has the money. She has control. I don't know, but I would maybe suspect, does she seek out people who don't have either of those things so she can have a little leverage? Is she that diabolical? Yes. So, no. Drug shaming. Okay, we've talked about drug shaming before. This came out when we were talking about Shannon not being a friend because Chantal brought cocaine to a kid's party and then Shannon did it too, so she deserves to be, I don't know, thrown over hot coals. And this one lied about it, and this one lied about it. The person who brought the drugs to the party is also culpable. Who brings drugs to a party like that? Chantal said she couldn't help but stop. So she was an addict at the time, so she couldn't help it. But Shannon should have been able to. There's always a reason Chantal's not responsible. But Shannon is highly responsible. Would Shannon have done it if Chantal didn't bring it? Let's look out for our friends, shall we? If we're going to start pinning our own actions on other people and say that I'm not responsible for my behavior, you are. You make me like this. You make me so mad. He does this to me. She does it to me. She brought the cocaine there. You're going to coke shame me? You're going to coke shame him with French fry girl? Okay, this idea of coke shaming is stupid. It is very stupid. If there's any advocacy to be done for drug and alcohol and substance use disorders and stuff, it's not made by people who have histories with addiction that seem to be current. I'm just saying, I'm not saying what, I'm not saying why, I'm just saying it seems like really hypocritical to, like, what did you call me that for? Well, because it's not okay. Now, if Shannon had a cocaine problem in the past and she's recovered from it, she doesn't do it anymore. And I don't mean she went to rehab and found God or anything. I just mean some people grow out of it. They grow out of the party lifestyle and maybe they dip back every once in a while. Chantal has decided that she is YouTube's moral compass and will decide for everybody what is right and what is wrong. I give my observations, but mine are very slanted towards what I think is right and wrong. I try to stay out of it, but, she decides what's right, what's wrong. And she is lost on the fact that the way she treats her audience, he treats her. And she doesn't understand why he's upset, and she can't understand why they're upset. But it's all projecting. There's a little bit of that. Mismatched emotions, displaced anger, making fun of Dee Dee because of how she's built, or her hair, or any of that, or because she takes Uber to get around, or French fry girl because she lives in a hotel. We're in a pandemic, like year 2. Housing insecurity is a big deal for a lot of people. I'm not saying don't hotel shame, because I don't like the shaming thing either. Just saying, times are tough. And is it true? I don't know. I don't play with French Fry Girl's channel. I don't know her like that. And I don't sit in the 4-hour chats, usually. That's why Chantal this week was a challenge. Hours and hours of crap. Hours of crap. So, let's see, where did we get up to here? Yeah, jealousy. I don't know. She was invited to this trip to the Dominican Republic with Shannon, I thought, because it was like an annual thing. And I think Shannon had extended that, if I remember, going into last summer, because I'm so obsessed myself. that it goes into last year, she was planning early to pay and was going to pay a non-refundable deposit so that it would motivate her to lose weight. If she didn't want to lose weight and buy 2 seats, fine. You know, you can accommodate yourself where you're at and go have a good time. And if she wants to get a jazzy when she's there and have men feed her grapes, you know, whatever she thinks she can afford and what she would enjoy. But to tell people who are out having a good time that they have no lives and that you have it better than them and they're jealous, you know, I don't know Shannon, but I don't know also that we would get a video of her shaving her head because a guy broke up with her. You know, none of us are, you know, all of us have a vulnerability. Most of us do. That if we have feelings for someone and it ends, that it can hurt. You know, even if it's on mutual terms, it can hurt. Nothing like being told by the cops to go screw yourself, that his food smelled good, and don't come back. A lot of people have said this isn't over until Natter says it's over. I think Natter's getting close to saying it's over. He must hit a financial threshold where he wouldn't need Foodie Beauty anymore. So her mystery date, she was going to go see Mo in Montreal. She was going to see a gentleman friend. She got all dressed up. She might have had the pink dress on. I never said a word, because once she put it on, it seduced all the men, and it started all this. Just saying. But I think she wore the pink dress, which is the first date dress. So I'm glad we're, you know, in agreement there. But this guy, it sounded like, you know, shady, shifty, trolling, maybe, trying to hope. She hopes that Natter watches all her lives. She seems to think he does. I don't know that he does. I think he might be trying to, like, move on to the next situation. The next, I don't know. I don't know. I think he's done. Maybe as friends with benefits or something, fine. But Chantal's expectation is that, like, you fuck with me, you're stuck with me. You're gonna have to throw me physically out of the house. You know, and what brings it back is all these different people. When Chantal first showed up, there was the woman, homeless-looking woman, crying on the steps, and Chantal walked past her and then came in to sit down. Now Chantal is the distressed woman on the steps, freaking out. Okay, and she's Dee Dee in the kitchen. Like, I don't know, Chantal saw what could happen to her and walked right past it and ignored it when she went upstairs. You know, she's like, oh, I wonder why. That doesn't make any... I don't know why that could happen. And he probably told her some BS. And she believed it because she wanted to. Because she wanted to have fun and party and bees and have a good time and have a boyfriend. These aren't bad things necessarily. But what she received was a lot different than what she was promised, apparently. If he promised her anything, he might have just thought, whoa, we had a good one-night stand. And then she stretched it into 7 months of hell. But... Just saying. And then she said she decided to get her stuff back. And if she needs the cops to do it, so be it. Bad idea. So there was a video right after all this talking shit and saying shit. And I'll say what I want to say, and it's not illegal to do it on YouTube. So have fun. She apologized to him in so many words for being a lousy person, for... saying anything about Dee Dee, that Dee Dee is a nice person. I'm like, what's she trying to either get out of or get back into? She goes there, and the next thing we know, she's live, streaming from the toilet, and crying, sort of, talking about getting mad because Dee Dee was there. Like, she was over there, Chantal was at his place, and left, and within a few hours, Dee Dee came over. So Chantal's mad because the guy that she's not seeing anymore, per him, only saw for a week out of those months, and who won't claim her in public as a girlfriend, and who, by the end of this day, will call the police to have her stuff given to her and be like, get the hell out and don't come back. And he says as much. Tell her to please leave and not come back. So, yeah, she was pissed that she felt left out, that Dee Dee is replacing her, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. So, Chantal alleges, now the cpap, the Sisterhood of the Traveling cpap, I believed she had 2. I kind of still think she does. I might have misunderstood that, though. But let's assume that this woman of means who could buy a trip to Italy doesn't have 2 devices when she says she has 2 homes. That was enough for her to stay the night out during the, what was it? Not lockdown. But if you knew you were going to stay at somebody's house for 4 days and didn't have it, was it over there when you were having the harder partying? Was it a priority at 4 in the morning to roll over and throw on the cpap? It's an excuse to go over there. Now, she framed it that it's not that I leave my stuff there as a reason to go back, but he won't let me take it. Okay, when the cops came, he just threw it all in the bag and gave it to you. And the police said, I'm sorry, we can't, like, she wanted in. She wanted in. She decided after that 6-hour bit where she apologized to him, she got mad again because Dee Dee was there. Now she's agitated, watching his videos, and decides to go over while she believes he's watching, or maybe he was live. Excuse me. So her version of events is that he feels like she thinks he doesn't want to seem weak, so he doesn't want to apologize, and he doesn't want to say anything in front of us that happened behind the camera. That off camera, it's like a torrid love affair, and that we're seeing is a desperate woman chasing down a man who doesn't like her. And he's making all of us think that she's crazy, as though that had never been brought up until he showed up. Okay. No. So she alleged she left her CPAP there this time, and this time she wanted it back. What she wanted was to get her foot in the door. In the video, she's in her car, and then she goes up the steps, tries to sound polite. She starts off nice. She got the phone down here looking up at her, and she's like, hey, I want my stuff. And he's like, I want my video. So apparently Chantal was monitoring a live, going through a video. At any rate, she deleted it. It was a live I think he was in the middle of, perhaps. Fact check me on that. And she got rid of it. And she's like, where's my stuff? He's like, oh, where's my video? Oh, I can't get it back? Well, sorry about your stuff. Leave. And then she tries to put her foot in the door. And she's cackling and laughing because she knows it gets a rise out of him. You are not thinking too much of your own safety if a person who you met was in anger management classes for a crime that was probably violent if anger management was part of the sentence, and getting your kicks by getting him upset. To what end? To what goal? How is that going to help the situation? You don't have to go over and kiss the ass of someone that you don't really want to associate with. But if your motive is just to get in the door, which she said before, all I have to do is get in the store and start moving stuff in, and then they'll let me move in, pretty much. So the police came. Chantal sat in her car out front. She went up again, and he basically said, F you, shut the door in her face. And she's laughing and talking shit as she's walking away. I'm like, hey, you could tell your story walking. Everybody else is doing something else, not thinking about you. They're upstairs, having a good time, chit-chatting. No one's going into a wild frenzy. No one's throwing themselves on the ground saying, Chantal, it's you that I want, really, not Dee Dee. It's not happening. They go about their business. So the cops come. Now, who called the cops? Well, Chantal gaslit the entire chat room and is saying, Natter, you better come get your stuff. Somebody's going to call the cops. And somebody wants to be that one somebody that saved Chantal. So either a VIB called, she called off camera, or he called for his own safety. And actually, if I were Natter, I probably would have called myself if I felt that the situation, if he's on paper, he doesn't need to run into any legal trouble at all. Even if it's her fault. Even if she got him into trouble. Not for the crime that he's already serving off his time for. Or that he was already in jail for. We break the law, we have consequences. We talk about addiction, and I'm in recovery, but I was a very heavy drinker. And I had multiple DUIs. I had a couple. I had one in New York, one in Pennsylvania. This is about 14 years ago. And it happens. It happens. When you break the law, it's very hard to feel sorry for somebody who does things like that, and the consequences are their own. I don't feel bad for Natter being in jail. If he did some illegal shit, then he should have been there. Now he's out, and now he's trying to do better, I guess. And when he was talking to her about not wanting to lose his temper because he has a tendency not to be okay, that is straight out of anger management talk. That was the best he could do, given the kind of person he is, I think. Him saying, I don't want to lose my temper because, not because you know how I get, just because it's not a good thing. Because he knows he acts out. So he was trying to keep himself calm and collected and said, please get off my property. Please get out of my house. You don't have the right to enter my house just because. She thinks because she pays for things, nothing is a gift. She doesn't give gifts. She gives bribes. She, well, you owe me something because I paid for dinner. What did you think? This was just a gift? Natter, you whore. Look at the way you were dressed. You were asking for it. And she throws around money and owning things and gifts the same way that a really misogynistic guy usually does it. Like, if the genders were reversed and there was a guy sitting outside calling 50 times and circling the block and demanding to get in and throwing his weight into the door so he could pop in, and then instead of talking about the cpap, deciding I was more upset about the company that you were keeping. Why are you drinking wine? Is somebody else there? Yeah, I'm having a hot night with your cpap. We're sitting there toasting, having wine. You wanted to come in because somebody else was there. I don't doubt your, feelings and how much it seems to push a person to want to act, but it's not okay. And the cops seem to have agreed, because his version was, he left his phone on. He was streaming at the time. Now, she had to turn her phone off because the cops came to her car to ask some questions. Because she's sitting outside waiting for the police, and lo and behold, somebody called them and they showed up. So she's in the car outside his house. She goes up twice, like I said, and he's like, fuck you, get out of my life. She goes back in the car. She's mad, entitled, upset, all of that. The cops come, talk to her a little bit. They go inside, talk to him a little bit. The cops were very nice. They were rather friendly. Y'all Canadians, the stereotype's right. Y'all are pleasant as punch. And the cops, by the time they were done, they were like, that food smells good. What are you making? That smells pretty great. And he had said, I don't want her to be arrested. I don't want anything to happen to her. I just don't want her to come here anymore. Is this the bit off camera that we're not seeing? We always say you don't know what's going on off camera. This was going on off camera. Him talking to the police saying, I just don't want her around here anymore. Please, he doesn't want anything bad to happen to her. He just doesn't want her around. Nothing says I secretly love you like a restraining order. This is... But you guys, you gotta know what's on behind the scenes, because when you flip the restraining order over, there's some scribbling. And I swear on the scribbling it says, I love you, Chantal. Okay. So his version of events and her version of events for that are very, very different about when the police came. I thought getting a police escort was stupid and over the bounds and everything, but at least there's witnesses now who heard his side and her side. She's outside. She said the police were idiots and didn't do anything, which means they believe him and not her. Because she's the one showing up at his house demanding to be let in to get alleged property that he has that she said he broke or won't give to her. So now there's a mask and a cord, and then she said she ordered a new one, but I don't know. Ultimately, I think the cops sided with him and said that they said his food looked good and smelled good. So, which brings us to the last point I want to talk about. Transformation. Is she going to have a transformation now? With weight loss, she might have a new one here or there. I got a new outfit. I'm trying a new diet. I'm doing the grape lemon fast. I'm never letting that grape lemon fast go. It was so stupid. It was right up there with the medium who channels diet advice. It was just as bad. It's right up there with smoothie fasts. Eat some fucking food. So, anyway. So she's going through some feelings. And she was going through some feelings just into the last couple nights. And she made a few videos about dying for Natter. I know I can't be with him, but I love him, but I hate him. But, that kind of, her histrionics about all of it. She goes off. And then she decides, in a fit, I believe, to cut her own hair. Now, Chantal has thin hair. I don't know if it's getting more thin, but thin hair, fine hair. And she uses a lot of product to keep it puffy. She's worn wigs before. She's talked about buying wigs before. So what she shares with us as the live comes up, and it was in the middle, early morning, if I believe, and she's missing some hair. In fact, she went all freaking mommy dearest and cut all of her hair off, except for a little bit in the back. And when she was done, it looked about as good as mine. It looked bad. People were congratulating her on doing something so brave. I don't know that it was bravery that led her to it. But bald isn't something everybody can pull off. It's also not something you can takesies backsies. She's going to be in wigs for 18 months if she wants to try to grow her hair back natural. I don't like her in blonde. This is editorial, by the way. I don't like her in blonde. I like blue, black, or bright black for her. Even if it's Arctic Fox, Transylvania, something like that. Personal opinion. People, like she had said, go through different changes in their lives. And I've been one. I've done the meltdown cutting the hair, when I still had hair. Meltdown cut the hair in front of the mug. Who's that? Who's Steven? I don't even know you anymore. You see it on Lifetime movies a lot. And I had done that myself, so I get the freak out. And then you realize you have to go to a salon the next day because you screwed up your hair. And I had a bunch of bald patches because I cut it with scissors, not clippers first. I was in college. It was the end of a breakup. I thought, well, I don't want to be seen, so let me do something that draws a ton of attention to me and cut my hair so I look like a freaking soccer ball. No. So, this brings us to pretty much where we are now. No friends. Have to get over it. Where does that leave us now? With her hair? Yeah, her new haircut. So she's supposed to go get it done today. But I checked back before we were going to film, and lo and behold, she has buzzed her hair off. She must have come up on some clippers. She said she couldn't find any when she first showed it off. It looks bad. However, she does look okay bald. Now, I'm bald, okay? And I'm a guy, and it's more common for us to be bald. Changing hair, changing facial hair for men, hair color, haircut, all that kind of stuff often indicates internal change. You know, a change on the outside can mean a change on the inside. Now, with weight loss, that change comes too. And then I think the opposite comes with weight gain. So it's not like I don't support her. But when she hits these roads where you can go one way or another, she sits too long. Like, if she just cut all her hair off to start a new way of doing things and leaving Natter behind and gonna get myself in order and blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I don't know how sincere she is. But something must have changed because she shaved her freaking head through the middle of the night. And she shaved it and she buzzed it, like down low, like this. It doesn't look terrible. You can see the widow's peak. She said she's interested in wearing wigs. And then she has some, she called them chemo caps. I think I know what she means. Like a cap. Like, you know, I've had relatives with cancer and they covered their hair with it. One of them had a wig so good that they went through surgery and it didn't come off. They didn't even ask her to because the hair looked so real. True story. So, yeah, originally I was like, what in gay hell did you do to your hair? But if it signifies change for her, even symbolically for her, and if it symbolizes good change, then I'm, you know, all the way behind it. You can't undo shaving your head. I mean, it's just one of those, things are different now. Until the hair grows back, things are different. And it reminds you every day of why you cut it, too. So, I don't know. I kind of want to give her not credit, not scolding. You know, I wasn't personally hurt by her relationship with Natter. I don't feel personally offended that she lied, you know, like to the viewers. Her substance use has not stopped, I'm sure, and not just the other stuff. I believe Mark and I were talking about her finding her own hookup when he was out of town or he was sick, and she had to make her own connections, and lo and behold, maybe she did. So, we'll see. We'll see. She insists if she was doing stimulants that she would be a lot thinner. I don't know. If anybody could out-eat cocaine, it could be Chantal. But we'll see. Going forward, I don't know what we're going to see going forward. Mark?
Yeah.
You want to come in for a minute?
Okay.
Just a second.
Hello. Hi, everybody.
You guys know Mark.
Yes, hi.
So, we just took the full view of the week. A lot of ups, a lot of downs.
We did.
Frankly, stuff got left out because other stuff was more grand.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it was like, I don't even know how many hours there are in a week, but
Oh
I'm
my
sure
God.
90% of them are live.
Take a long view of this whole thing. So, do you have any observations? You're kind of the resident substance use disorder expert.
Yeah.
Do you have any observations about where that may land as far as these changes she's making?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Or is
Yeah.
it just going to be kept off camera? I don't know.
Yeah, well, you know what I did? I had a lot that I wanted to say today because I had a different angle that I was gonna go at, but you know what? I'm gonna choose to be positive here.
Mhm.
Really, I'm gonna try to be positive here, right? So I am going with where we are right now, right now in real time, which is like a new Chantal. It's a new day. The sun has come up. There's a new look. She's talking about, therapy and getting, traveling and getting back to doing stuff with her channel and all this. And, unfortunately, we have heard all of that before. But you know what? This is a little bit different in the fact that this is something new that has happened within this 7-month, mess of a journey that we've been watching, you know. So I'm hoping that it stays, and I'm hoping that it sticks. Now, on the substance use disorder, now in my personal opinion and experience, a person in her situation and what we've seen over the last however long it was, 7 months or so, you know, you can't just put it down. You know, it doesn't just stop like that. You know, any type of drug use like that, it doesn't. Look, I hope it does. I hope that's it. Do I think she's going to put down the substances? No, I don't, unfortunately. No. I really think she should. If she's going to go with this brand new day and a new her and all this, that has to go.
Yeah,
it has to go. You know, the edibles and the THC, really, that's one thing. But again, we have seen her substance use. We have seen that she cannot stop. We have seen her have consequences from it.
Yeah.
You know, and even if you just want to take marijuana in itself, driving high, like all these things that have consequences. I mean, she's at a point now that, just yesterday, she's lucky. If this is a new start for her, she dodged a huge rock bottom point, bullet. Like she kind of dodged it. I mean, really, that fiasco yesterday, those live streams and the cutting of the hair and the fiasco of being at his house and the cops being called. I mean, that's pretty bottom,
Yeah, that's close.
But I think that this is what I was going to say. There's even like a petition on change.org to get her to stop driving under the influence. I mean, this is how much it's come to this point.
Yeah.
Do you know, like, you're a normal everyday person, that doesn't happen to, you know what I mean?
No.
And that's a direct result of her drug use over the last 7 months and what she does while she's under the influence. And then she will say things like, "Oh, I know what I'm doing. As long as you wait an hour, you can drive." And she dictates the rules when it comes to that, and that's not true.
Yeah.
That's not true. I have no problem with marijuana. Not at all. If anybody uses it, I don't at all. However, when you use it to that extent and you're putting other people at risk, that's where I have the problem with it.
Yeah, home stoned on a live stream. Maybe it's not the best look, but you're not hurting anybody.
Right, Now, I will take that one step further, and this past week it was very difficult for me to watch some of her videos. The nodding and the slurring of the words. It was triggering, and I'm a person who's been in recovery for 10 years now. It's not, she is not responsible for other people, but as a creator, you do take on some responsibility. You do. If you have morals, you will have some responsibility to your viewers and how you're triggering them and, how you want to be perceived by your viewers,
A lot of people, you don't have to care what they think, but a lot of us do to some extent. But a lot of us do to an extent.
Because
it's their $5 every month.
And again, this goes to her character and how she's perceived and how she wants people to see herself. I mean, let's face it, she has no other life. No other life at all. She is live right now. She's live all the time. That is her life. And so people looking at it, they see that's her, And I mean, just yesterday, it was completely different from what we're seeing right now. So yes, I'm staying positive. I'm rooting for you. I hope you get it together. The drug use, unfortunately, I do not think that it is just going to stop like that. Some people can do it. I hope we can have the old Chantal back. Maybe a new improved Chantal,
I think not only is this Chantal of the last 7 months hopefully gone, but hopefully the Chantal of the previous 4 years went with her.
Too. I'm hoping that this is a new start and she learned something from it, and that this is indeed a stepping stone to more better things for her health, for her as a person and for the people who watch her. I was so disheartened when after that debacle of a live stream where the police came and she's going to his house and she sat herself on his couch and she started, making
running
fun,
her mouth
running
and
her
making
mouth
fun
and
of
egging
people.
him on, and and
then
making
shows
fun of
up.
Dee Dee. After that, I was so disheartened to learn that she made like thousands of dollars in super chats. She has many, many new memberships. I'm inclined to think the memberships are because people like a shit show, people like drama, and not like supporting her and supporting her actions and supporting this immature, destructive behavior. It was like, wow, I was disheartened. That's
Disheartened.
the word.
That's a good choice of words for it.
But yeah, no. So I'm gonna stay positive. Chantal, please go
for
with
the
this.
love of God.
Go with this. We're rooting for you.
Chantal's only reachable for support for about 5 hours at a
Yes.
time every 6 months.
Right.
We did this 6 months ago with what's his fuck.
Yeah.
Natter.
And fortunately, two things are gonna happen. Either it's gonna go in a positive direction.
Yeah.
Or tomorrow he's gonna call. She's gonna go right back, and we're gonna do
in
this
an $8 lace front wig
all over
and then
again.
Yeah, I'm prepared that could happen. I'm not so certain.
Too, but
it's
I'm going with you. I'm going with her today. I'm okay.
Today
right.
She looks like she's doing some things
but
that could be
I'm
positive,
also not
but
naive, and I'm not stupid. So cautiously positive about
hope
this.
for the best, but not stupid for what
Yeah.
could be the worst.
Yeah.
Well,
so,
thank you, Mark.
But anyway, nice to see you.
Thank you, Mark. And so, where does that leave us? Well, pretty much what Mark said. Pretty much what we had said. This could be a turning point. It could be. But like I also said, I think Chantal is only real Chantal, not YouTube Chantal or Natter Chantal, is only reachable for a short period of time before she starts to think, I can manipulate this part of it or that part of it and still change my life, but keep a few of the pieces of it for me. I'm not saying 180 change necessarily, but maybe a little bit better, make some smarter choices, XYZ areas. And that's pretty much it. I got high hopes for her now, but we know high hopes are often wasted on Chantal. But I'm a sucker, and therefore I don't respect her as much, I think, after the last week. And I don't believe her as much as I used to. But if she's willing to try to change, I'm willing to give her a chance. But it's a very qualified chance. So, no, you're not going to start getting praise Chantal videos out of me. I'm not going to be meaner than I used to be either, but it's her call. She'll get as well as she wants to get. And what everyone said, it's over when Nader says it's over, and it sounds over. Telling the police that you don't want her back at your house, that's pretty final, I would say. So, I hope things go better for her week. I hope it's not dramatic. If I see her talking to Nader tomorrow, I would not be surprised. Just keeping it real. Just keeping it real. She might just go back over. She wouldn't be the first person to do it. She won't be the last. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. And, hey, Baldy Nation, I got you. I see you, okay? So thank you all for watching. Please do subscribe, hit the notification bell so you get alerts when we have new videos and go live. You can follow us on Facebook, on Instagram. Our email address and contact info is listed below as well. Thank you again, and we'll catch up with you tomorrow. We are going live at 6 p.m. We do our normal Sunday live. It's open discussion. Usually Foodie Beauty comes up. A couple other folks come up too, or just open chat. So don't be a stranger. Stop by if you feel so inclined. Again, it's tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Eastern. Thanks for watching. Bye. Say bye, Mark.
Bye, everybody.